I go by my middle name, Burris. Okay, my official name is Eugene Burris Warner Jr. Now, I am a native of Florida, born and raised, lived here for 62 years. Anybody else a native of Florida, Polk County? A couple of you, very good. So rest of you are not natives. How many of you have heard of Amerity Financial before? Our headquarters are in Lakeland, Florida on Cleveland Heights. If you're familiar with Cleveland Heights, Lake Marion, Hallam over there, all right? We have multiple offices. We're a full service agency. We do everything we can for our clients. It's a one-stop shop, basically, is what I say it is. You can get any aspect of your financial DNA or your financial retirement plan handled through Amerity Financial. People are trying to live comfortably in retirement. They want to risk what they've got. They want to make some money. They want to create an income stream, whatever they want to do that will last for the rest of their life. Amerity Wealth Management. How many of you have heard of Amerity Wealth Management? We handle all aspects of those type of risk-based management type, your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds. We handle it all. Most of our offices are in the state of Florida, but we do have offices up in the southeast, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee. So we do stretch up the southeastern seaboard. And then we do have attorneys and lawyers, people that are looking to do trust, wills, update your trust and wills, CPAs, tax accountants, all that. We have it for you, and we have those availabilities depending on your situation. My job is to educate you today because we have to change our mental approach to retirement, because a lot of things have changed when it comes to retirement, not just in the 21 years I've been doing this, but in the last 10 years, a lot of things have changed when it comes to your retirement, your Social Security, and how we live the rest of our life, which we're going to highlight today. How many of you retired between 2013 and 2022? That's what the market did. That's pretty good. Average returns, if you were 100% in the stock market, was 14 to 16%. Did you average 14 to 16% during that time? Now, 2022, it dropped. Now it's back up. But look at this. What if you retired from 2000 to 2000? Remember I told you about that time period? How much money did this person make for that 13 years? Nothing. Over time, do you think it's going to look like this the next 20 years? Or is it going to look like this the next? You don't know. How many of you go to the Hard Rock? Don't, yeah, I know. Everybody raise your hand. I see you over there all the time, so don't say. No. So let me ask you this. If you took, and I know I'm going to use this number, if you took $100 and you could go over to the Hard Rock in Tama and play slots all day, and the worst case scenario is at the end of the day, you still walk home with $100, would you do it? Yeah. Now, if you go over, she's shaking her head no. I'm like, okay, you're not getting anything to eat, because that's not, yeah, I'm just kidding. If you go over there, you take $100, and in the first 2 hours, you turn that 100 into 200, and now that locks in, and the worst you can do is go home with $200, would you still go? My point is this. Most retirees need additional income to supplement their Social Security and or pension or loss of it, and they tend to pull it from liquid assets. When things tend to go from bad to worse, when you start losing money, what happens? You either cut back on your spending or you have to go back to work, right? So when you start withdrawing money rather than putting it back in, it changes the whole thing. So with that being said, there are certain types of annuities that can guarantee you income for life. That means I don't care if you live till you're 120, you'll still get that income every year, every month, however you want it. Okay? See where I'm going with longevity. Ladies, see where we're going. We're taking care of you. If you're worried about long-term care and protecting your estate from the spin down, you can have additional long-term care benefits inside of it, depending on your situation. Or right now, are you looking just to grow your money without risking any of it? Have you got that later bucket in place? You can do that now. So, over the last 3.5 years, this is how much money is being pumped into certain types of annuities. That's a lot. 1.13 trillion. A lot of money, because why? When I got in the industry years ago, it used to be just that the financial professional or the insurance agent sold annuities because they were a relatively new concept. Well, fast forward to the last 5 to 6 years, more and more advisors are incorporating certain types of annuities into their portfolio for their clients. They're just not putting everybody into stocks anymore. We're trying to capture what? You're trying to capture the gains, right? So think about this. Remember that chart it took 13 years just to get back to even? What if you had $100,000 in your stock portfolio and it's done well over the last few years? Now it's grown to 150. What would be the best thing to do?
Sell.
Take your winnings off the table, right? Take that 50,000 you made, go lock it into something you can't lose. You still got your 100,000 to play with, but now guess what you've done? You locked in your gains. Now if the market drops 20%, you lose 20% off 100, right? So you only lost 20,000 instead of 150 where you lost 30,000. See where I'm going? Yeah. Better growth opportunities, better income payouts, and better death benefits depending on your situation. There's four types of annuities out there, and all of them have different variations. Single premium, that's kind of like your pension. It's designed for an income payout stream only. That's what it's designed for. I don't sell these because basically if you have a pension and or Social Security, you have one. Traditional fixed, those of you that like the CD market, okay? Year ago, probably you were getting CDs for 4.5, maybe 5 if you were lucky. Now that the interest rates are starting to adjust, CD rates are being what?
3.5.
Lowered, 3.5. Well, your traditional fixed annuity allows you to lock in that rate for a longer period of time. Let's say 3 years or 4 years or 2 years. You have fixed annuities paying 5%, 5.25% right now for 2 to 3 years. So instead of having that CD that you're going to have to renew every year where the interest rate comes down, plus you have to what? Claim the interest. With a traditional fixed annuity, you can defer those taxes. You don't have to claim them every year. So they're there. Some people like that motto. They say, hey, I just want a certain 3-year at 5, lock in my rate before all the rates come down. Variables we talked about, it does this, carries a lot of risk, goes up and down, has a lot of fees. I already said if you have one of those, make sure you get with me and we can do a review. And then here's where a lot of that trillions of dollars is going. It's called the fixed indexed annuity. All right? Most of them do not have fees. So you just eliminate, remember that chart where if you could get 6% at no fees, how you could grow your money? Most of them have no fees. Now, here's what separates the good ones from the bad ones. The old ones from the newer ones. Are your indexes capped at how much they can make? Are they uncapped? So when I say capped, that means they put a cap. Remember the old bottles? They still have some bottles out there. You know, you have a cap on it because you don't want the liquid to go any higher than that. So if you have a capped index of 3%, and that year that index made 10%, what did you make? 3%. Insurance company made 7%. That's what your older contracts look like. Fast forward to today, now you're talking about caps that are at 6, 7, 8%. So, and when I mean by older, I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 years ago. So now you have what they call uncapped, which allows you to participate in a portion of that, maybe 50, 60, 70, 80%, which gives you a higher return rate on a good year. So riders, these are options based off your situation where you can have an income stream that you can turn on next month, a year from now, 3 years from now to supplement either the loss or additional income you need that will carry on for the rest of your life. They're insured by the state of Florida. And they're creditor-proof and lawsuit-proof. Anybody that purchases an annuity on Floridian soil, nobody can sue you for that money. It's protected. So here's all your different investment options. Everything to the right, bonds, variables, mutual fund stocks. Remember, you can make money, but you can also do what? Lose, right? Everything to the left is your safe investments. Remember I said, do you want safety? Do you want some security? Do you want your now, intermediate, and your later bucket? So notice the fixed annuity was going to be a little bit higher than the CD because I just said you can get a little higher return now for a little longer period of time than just a year and it renews and pay the interest. Look at the fixed index. See the type of growth you can get today? Look at the variable and the mutual fund. You can get pretty comparable to that without what? The risk. So what does it look like? Remember I said if we could go over to Hard Rock, you could take $100, you can walk out there no worse than the $100 you went with, you'd go with me, right? Except this young lady, she don't, I'm just kidding. Yes, she does. She'll go. She'll go. So today is January what, 20th? 21st. Okay. Today is January 21st. We're going to invest our money today into a fixed index annuity. All I'm worried about is where is that index at on January 21st of 2027, a year from now. I don't care what it does every day. All I'm worried about is where did my index value start and where is it on January 21st of 2027? It doesn't matter what it does every day. So The orange or red line, whatever it looks like, depending on where you're sitting, that would be somebody that's in mutual funds or stocks. The blue line would be somebody that's in a fixed index annuity based on how an index performs. So today, let's say the market goes up this year. We have a good year. The tariff stuff gets behind us. Everybody stops getting all scared, and we have a great growth year. So your mutual funds and your stocks are going to make money, right? Boom, they're going to go up. The annuity is going to go up too because the index is going to have a positive year. On January 21st, 2027, if the market corrects itself, what happens to your money? It's going to go down, right, if you're in mutual funds and stocks? In the annuity, what happens? You don't make anything that year, but you don't lose anything either. Zero is my hero. A 0% return is better than a 20% loss. So on January 21st of 2027, if I made any type of interest, that interest locks in. And I can't lose it. Now the market drops. So here's the beauty of it. This is how this works. This is how that long-term later bucket works. Every year on January 21st, it's called an annual reset. Your index starts over at that value. So if that index or the market dropped, guess what? When's the best time to buy? When something's low, right? So if that index in year 3 is down, you start over where that is. So the next year it's going to go up. Guess what happens? You make money because that index made money. And that's added to yours. So over time it looks like this. So my question to you is, would you rather be where the blue line is? Or would you rather be where the red line is? Remember I said if we can go over and take $100 and in the first 2 hours you make 200 and it locks in? This is the scenario. Now, you have access to your funds every year. I know one of the old myths is I can't touch my money. That's wrong. You have access to your funds every year. It's a certain percentage. You can take it out anytime you want. Just like a CD, you can take it out before its maturity. You lose a portion of the interest. So my point is, this is my later bucket. Now, if I average 5 to 6% over that 7 or 10 year period, guess what I've done? I've doubled my money. And now I have something to work with 10 years from now, and I could do something. What if the market goes down today? What happens to the money you invested in the fixed index annuity? You don't lose anything. You still have what you put in. Remember, zero is my hero. So if you see me out at dinner one night around the town, or you run into me and you come up to me and say, hey, you're the zero is my hero guy, I know you were at one of my workshops. So remember now, it drops. How long, when you have a negative year, on average, does it take to recover a loss in the stocks or the mutual funds? 3 to 5 years, right? So it's going to take about 5 years just to get back to even if you lost some money. In the annuity, what happens? Every year you do what? You reset, right? So if there's a positive year, if that index does well, you make money, so you're always ahead of the ball game. So here's that chart that I showed you. Someone had been in an index annuity back in 1998. This is kind of the scenario you would look at with a 50% participation rate. It means you got half of whatever it did that year. What do I mean by that? If that index made 10% and you got to participate in half of it, you made 5. Follow me? Those rates now are much higher than that today. Now, they're not going to last that much longer if we start lowering interest rate if the Fed does. But we're in a position now where it can continue to grow. So over time, it looks like this. So here's an income bucket. So here's something. This might be what we're looking at. Remember, who are we taking care of the longest? Ladies. Everybody say ladies. Gentlemen, even you say ladies. Yes, I'm taking care of you, honey. I love you. You happy wife, happy life. I'm taking care of you. So male and female, both the age of 70, okay? They're not concerned about anything, but they are concerned about maybe long-term care expenses and the spend down, all right? Or they're looking to supplement their income or the loss of income if one of us passes away. You can do that if, this is single too, so you don't have to be married. This is just showing you the whole chart. So what this is going to show you is someone that's in a mutual fund or stocks and how it will perform on a bullish year. Someone that's in a fixed annuity that has an income benefit with the long-term care to it. So basically what you're doing, you're paying a fee of 1.5% for that optional rider you chose. Now, you don't have to have this. This is an optional rider. And that's going to roll up at 8% no matter what. But that's generating income for you. And then we're going to show an enhanced payout if you can't do what? 2 out of 6 activities of daily living. You know what those are, right? You can't bathe yourself. You need transference, you need help getting around, toileting, the 6 activities a day. If you can't do that, you can access these funds to help cover the cost of care. So you don't have to do what? The spend down for Medicaid. Start taking it out of your pocket. Money at risk. So you got $300,000 sitting in your stock portfolio, right? Doing pretty good. So you're paying a fee of 1.3. I'm just using that. The annuity, you got $300. We put it into the fixed index annuity. Now you're paying that fee of 1.5 for that rider, because that's going to roll up at 8%. That $300 on the right side is going to roll up at 8% every year. That's what we're going to use to determine our income stream and what we're going to use to determine if we need some type of long-term care. Like I said, you can mix and match and change these around depending on your situation. So bullish market, we're going to make 8% in the stocks. That's a good return. You'll take that, right? All right, so your 3 goes to 320. The 300, we're only getting a portion of it, so we made 5%. So our account went from 300 to 311 after the fee came out. If you died tomorrow, your beneficiaries get what? $311,000. That's a death benefit, all right, because you assign beneficiaries to these. Now your income account, there's no fee that comes out of that. So that 300 grow by 24, so you're up to 324. So in a 2-year scenario, our money at risk is 341, but we can still lose that, right? The account value is at 322. We've still made some money, so we're up, even with the fee. But our income rider is 349. So in 2 years, this couple, or one of them passes away, they need to supplement their income, they're going to access income that year. If you use the 4% rule, now most financial advisors use the 4% rule when it comes to your portfolio. You need to withdraw 4% to supplement your income. The problem is that money is not what? It's not guaranteed, right? Because it's based off of your portfolio. So you're going to get $13,000 a year. In the income rider after 2 years, at age 72, it's a 7% return or 7% withdrawal rate. You would get $24,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of your life. Or you could do it monthly. What would you rather have, $24,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of your life, or $13,000 that's not guaranteed? Everybody say the same thing, 24, right? See how you can supplement the loss of income or additional supplement your income? Now look at this. What if you waited 10 years? We waited an additional 8 years. Now your money grew to $571. That's a lot of money. You did well. Now the 4% rule says you can take out $22,000 a year, but that's not guaranteed, right? The annuity value grows to $422 because you're getting a percentage of it. But look at the income rider. Now they're paying you on a joint payout, or if you're single, be a little bit more, $50,000 a year guaranteed for the rest of your life. In this scenario, if we're trying to take care of a particular individual the longest, would they rather survive off of $50,000 a year for the rest of their life they know they will have no matter what happens, or 22 that's not guaranteed? All right, so these are ways you can set that up. Now, if somebody needed some type of, now look over here. To get that $50,000, if you took out 6, 7, or 8%, you're still not getting the $50,000. So you're having to take out a higher percentage to come close to what the guaranteed side is. That's huge, right? Now you're taking out more money and you're still at risk, because if you lose a portion of that portfolio, that changes everything. Over here, that's guaranteed, no matter how long you live. I don't care if your account goes to 0, you're still going to get that $50,000 a year for the rest of your life. All right? Now, also in this scenario, we added a long-term care rider. So this will do 1.5 to 2 times that amount to help cover the cost of care for that individual. If you're married, it's 1.5, so you would get about $75,000 a year to help cover the cost of care for that person that's in there. You can invest whatever you want. This was just using a $300,000 example. You can do whatever you want. It's based off of what you invest. If you're single, that 50 would double to 100,000 to help cover the cost of care. Now, guess what? You've just covered the cost of care with 100,000, and you're not having to do what? Drain your estate, right? So, no, we can use any number, so don't worry about the big number. I know we can use whatever, So it just depends on the situation, where you're at or whatever. But remember, we have Medicaid. So here's some of the rates that we're seeing now. These are different indexes, and these are some. Look at these participation rates. Look at that 92. That means you got to participate in 92% of that NASDAQ performance in that particular index. So now if that did 10%, if that index made 10% that year and you got to participate in 92% of that gain, you made what? 9.2% on your funds without any risk and without any fees. So these are things you can look at over time. Always compare how it works with your market risk. As I said before, my third time saying it, if what you thought was true wasn't true, when would you want to know the answer to it? Yesterday. So if you own an annuity, because some of you had raised your hand, if you own an annuity that's more than 2 to 3 years old, take advantage of the consultation we're about to talk about. Let's look at it. You might be able to upgrade it. Like I said, you might be in an older one and you can upgrade to a newer one that has better returns for you. You can get out of these ones that are 2 and 3 and 4 years old and upgrade to a newer one without any cost to you. You can actually make money in the move. So there's different ways of doing this. And I always said, all of you have a different financial DNA in here. So what's ever right for one person is not going to be the same fit for the next person. Here's what I can help you with. Current or future income concerns. If you are worried about income in the future or the loss of income and replacing that, I can help you with that. Do you need current? Do you need supplemental income right now to supplement what you have? We can help you with that. We can set it up now or we can defer it till later. Okay? Long-term care concerns. If you're worried about long-term care in the future, protecting your estate, I can help you with that. Do you want to save on your taxes? Do you want to defer it so you don't have to pay taxes every year? Do you want to convert some of your traditional IRA to a Roth to offset taxes in the future? I can help you with that. We can lower or probably eliminate your fees on part of your account. We can do that. If you want to diversify, if you want to have your now, intermediate, and your later bucket, if you're missing one, we can diversify. I have found a lot in doing this after 21 years with folks I come in contact with. If you're only working with one financial advisor, you're not getting the full picture and the full story because they're only showing you what they know. Maybe you're not seeing what you don't know. Remember what I said? So there's different ways to look at everything to make sure that you are set up correctly.